Jonathan. I met you what, 2 years now?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. Man, this guy knows his chemicals. He's got a bunch of stuff up here. All this pressure washing knowledge that I have learned over the past 2 years has been just immense, because this guy here and his team really does a good job of like literally educating us about their chemicals and their products, and they're always giving us more information and more information. I just freaking can't, I just love it. It's awesome. When somebody does that, man, it tells me they are really in love with their business, they really love their customers, and they really are passionate about what they do. And this is my man Jonathan, who owns TChem. Give him a round of applause for being here today. All right, so this guy, I would say, Lewis, you have a good relationship with Jonathan. He utilizes their company like routinely, right? They're our supplier for like our chemicals and things of that nature. And Jonathan is somebody that came. Well, you don't live in Wilmington. You're in Kernersville,
right?
Okay, great.
Right.
And when I first started interacting with their company, I didn't meet Jonathan. I met
Nicole.
Nicole,
yeah.
She's
not. She was our sales rep at that point in time. Yeah.
So but she came by. She found me, and she hawked me down and cornered me and said, "Hey, I got some information for you." So she started giving me information about TChem. They're the new supplier in town for sodium hypochlorite and pressure washing equipment and things of that nature. And she did a really good job. She just kept following up with them, and then we just started that relationship. And it couldn't happen at a better time, because we were really falling out with the other vendor that we had, and we're just like, man, we're just frustrated. And then this guy comes up and just freaking rocks the house. I mean, he really, really, really knows customer service, knows his products, and he was able to just give us information that was very valuable for us to be able to say, hey man, we are just gonna go with this guy for our sodium hypochlorite supplies, right? And that's where we started, utilizing him for the sodium hypochlorite, and then we started utilizing him for equipment and things like that, right, Lewis? So everybody give a big round of applause for Mr. Jonathan with TChem here. Okay, so let me ask you this, like, how do you feel being surrounded by so many ninjas? He brought his guys, right? Because he must have felt a little threatened. I'm thinking like, why do you bring so many guys, man?
It's actually pretty exciting to see you guys grow. I know probably when Gabe was hatching the idea of franchising and going out, we kind of had some interaction with that, and it was exciting to hear that. And now to kind of see this kind of take shape at your first conference and inviting us here, it's pretty exciting to see you guys. And I know I've spoken, I think, with you on the phone several times. So yeah, having some interaction with the Window Ninjas is fun. So nice. I'm stoked for you guys.
Nice. I know Lewis enjoys working with you. Blake, you've talked to him. I mean, anybody who has some questions about pressure washing, this guy knows this stuff. Give us a little bit of background about you. I know how long have you been in the pressure cleaning industry? These guys want to know, how knowledgeable you are about chemicals and things of that nature. I'm always getting those kind of questions from all of our people, from our employees to our franchisees, and it's kind of nice and refreshing to have more information than what I actually need. So tell these guys a little bit about your background, and we're going to get into how you got into doing this business.
So my father is my business partner. I've been in this industry for going on 11 years. Prior to that, I ran nursing homes. And it's funny, my dad was plant engineer for Piedmont Chemical. He was on steamships when he came out of engineering school. So he was running Piedmont Chemical, and he was treating steam boilers, and he was developing chems. On the side, he was pressure washing as I was a child. So our line over here, which is our fleet washing, we did a lot of fleet washing in Kernersville. There's a ton of intersection from 85, 95 close, 40. So there's tons of trucks and fleets. So he got into the pressure washing via that. So that's kind of where this started, is Dad started creating chems because he got tired of using other people's water, which I'm sure you guys can attest to that. So then I just had enough of healthcare, and thank the Lord it was pre-COVID, so I didn't have to deal with COVID. But I just woke up one morning, and we decided we were going to partner and kind of move forward, and it was just him and I. And now we have a location here in Wilmington. We have a location in Kernersville. We're continuing to grow and branch out, but it originally started just with kind of chemicals. Then what we started noticing is guys were going and purchasing product at a competitor and then coming buying chemicals from us. So we decided to kind of get into the pressure washing space. Now we were doing repairs on steam boilers, production-based equipment, stuff like that, which we still do. But every plant you go into has pressure washers, they have other things. So it kind of made sense, right? So we kind of completed that package, and now we're just trying to grow this space. And you know, the retail store world it's tough. I mean, you guys, I heard, you know, Hazen talking about too, there's so many options, Jay Rastein's you can buy things from. However, what we want to produce is just that relationship, right? You may find it cheaper, that's fine. If you need someone to call to get education off of, call us, use us, that's okay. You know, that's the kind of partnership we're involved in, because as you grow and as you increase, we will do the same, whether that's through sales or it's just through availability, because then you're going to recommend us. And that's our goal, really. And that's kind of where Gabe and I started was, it's like, hey man, I don't need to have your business. And DJ, who's in the back, our team here, he was actually running the store for our competitor at that moment.
I almost forgot about that.
And that was one of the reasons why Gabe never left there, because DJ, and that's that relationship and that growth. I mean, Lewis can speak to that. And it was like, we were thankful and lucky enough that DJ came and joined our team. So it kind of completed that circle a little bit, but it was really just about growing a relationship. And I didn't know a soul here. We moved to Wilmington, we homeschool our kids. My dad stayed in Kernersville. I had a team there. I picked up, we rented a house here, we moved, and we opened a store 2022 in March. And it was like, we don't know anybody. And you know, guys like Gabe and a couple other pressure washing guys kind of stepped up and made sure that we were comfortable here and we knew. And we just kind of built a relationship. And then it was mainly, look, you know what, if I don't get your business, at least let me come help. And I know we looked at some of the trucks. We just kind of, you know, just want to be who you can talk to that can give you advice on what may or may not work, what's better, how are you going to spend your money, how are you not going to spend your money, those kind of things. So, and even when DJ was working for our competitor, him and I talked pretty often about different things. It's just about collaboration. There's too much competition. There's enough work for everybody. So if we all collaborate, then it makes it better, right? I know in Raleigh, we collaborate with Derek, you know, in Triangle Pressure Services. Derek's a great guy. He does things better that we don't do. We do things better that he doesn't do. Instead of competing with another, let's work together. And that's what kind of we're forming that partnership and that relationship there. So that's kind of our motto and that's our mindset. So with you guys, we just want to be a provider for you, whether we sell it or not, that's okay. Yes, do we want your business? Absolutely. But we're willing to give you information and be that support network for you, because there's so many things out here, so many people out here that aren't going to do that, and they're just going to sell your product.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and this is part of the reason why I like Jonathan. He's used the R word probably 15 times. Relationships. It's about relationships. His girl came and found me, right? We knew DJ, right? We had a relationship with DJ. I didn't have a relationship with this salesperson that he brought to me, but she was nice, she was friendly, she was giving me information. She then gave me this information about DJ. DJ then came and talked to me and said, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what we're doing. And I said, hey, listen, I'm willing to give these guys a try. And the cool thing about Jonathan and his team is that they value relationships. And that's something that's super powerful for all of you guys to understand when you're working with your employees, when you're working with your vendors, and most importantly, when you're working with your customers, okay? Relationships matter, okay? And because we've had a good relationship with DJ, we trusted DJ, right? We didn't really know Jonathan much, right? All this good verbiage is coming out of his mouth, his girl's mouth, all that, man. But you know what? I knew that if DJ was going to leave where he was at and go take a leap of faith with this guy, then I needed to meet this guy. And that's how we ended up getting to know each other. We've been to lunch and we've gone, we've talked over the phone and stuff like that. He's a busy guy, right? And I'm busy too. We're kind of like ships crossing all the time, right? But I just know that he and his company has been there for us here in Wilmington and that they do a good job. Now, you're in Kernersville,
yeah, Winston-Salem,
right?
Greensboro, try it.
And so Blake, you're not going to Kernersville to get product.
I'm going to Derek.
Right.
Yeah.
But see how he built that relationship for you guys, right? And if let's say Derek, let's say he goes out of business, right? Or say, hey man, I want to retire. And he says, hey, would you buy my business? Would you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then now you got another relationship with this guy, the same guy that we have a relationship with, right? We just foster those relationships. And that's one thing that I really, really like about him. And that was something that I wanted to start with because I knew he was that kind of guy. Now, Lewis, and you appreciate that relationship that he forged with you through Jonathan, correct? Blake?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, okay. And Lewis, you've been using these guys for, gosh, how long now? 3 years? 2 years?
It's pretty much when they moved to Wilmington.
Yeah, okay. How's the quality of service with these guys?
Outstanding.
Okay. Do they typically help you out as fast as they can?
So, and it's quick.
Yep. Okay. Are they routinely giving you deliveries of this sodium hypochlorite that you need and other products like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good deal.
I can attest that when you started working with Derek, the quality of some of the chemicals that they sell other than sodium chloride drastically went up.
Yeah.
Drastically.
Yep. So does that make you excited? Doesn't that
It
make you
does.
excited when you are able to facilitate the needs of some of our guys that, and you're not making any money off of Blake when he takes his truck over to Derek, right? Okay. And that's what's cool is like these guys, they want to be able to help you guys, right? And as we grow, right? I know we've talked about this before. As we grow, he wants to be able to help us at the best that he can, right? And we're going to get more into that a little bit later on down the road. So now I'm going to put you on the spot now for a minute, okay? All of our franchise owners are always looking for ways to maximize their operational efficiency and profitability. And I'm asking you this question because I would like to know from you personally, how do your services directly benefit our teams that are in the areas that you service? Meaning Wilmington the most, and even your reference with the guy in, that Blake is utilizing. And how? And one more thing. And how could you be assistance to locations that you may not be operating in now?
So for everybody, right, what we're going to try to work you into is what fits for you, not what we want to sell you. We would rather you be satisfied with what equipment you buy and how you set it up as opposed to us selling you something that's pre-done and we make a healthier margin on. And I mean, these guys can attest to that. We'll lose money by doing something that fits you as opposed to, because we want long-term sustainability. I mean, let's be honest. Chemicals is where we make more money because you're going to use them consistently. You may buy a new rig once every 5 to 10 years if you take care of that, right? So there is money to be made on that. However, the relationships come when it comes to chemicals, it comes to the daily parts, it comes to the things that break and tear down. And then our service base, like we want you to come in and work with us. We can sell you the equipment, but then we can take care of it. And we're going to teach you and talk to you about how to maintain better and give you advice on that. Because there's things that we see daily that you may not see. What just happened here in Wilmington in the last 2 weeks? It's freezing, right? How many guys winterize their units or even know how to do that? Not a lot, because you haven't, right? I know you guys do. I think I heard Cliffs communities up near Asheville, right? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I got married at the Cliffs of Glassy, so
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with those. But winterization's a big thing, right? It can cost you X amount of dollars because you're down. Especially if I've seen pump heads walk off, crankcases. We've seen rods thrown through crankcases for those reasons, right? So just by buying a gallon of winterization fluid, or if you're not local to us, call and ask what it is. It's 20-degree windshield washer fluid, minus 20. Run it through your system. You can capture it if it goes on the ground. It's not antifreeze that now you're in trouble with the EPA or potentially with the EPA. It's all those things that we provide you that we could make a lot more money on if we just said buy it from us. But it's about relationships. They're going to tell you what you can and can't do, as opposed to just trying to sell you something, right? I mean, that's really what this is about. Look, man, we've had guys, I always tell this story because it's funny, from pressure washing houses all the way to pressure washing cows. A guy was prepping cows for shows and he was pressure washing them. And he was a customer of ours. And it's like, dude, I've seen it all and heard it all. But so everything is needed when it comes to pressure washing, soft washing, power washing, whatever phrase you want to. But there's so much work to be done. It just allows for everybody to be available to that. And we just want to help you, man. I mean, we saw in COVID, how many guys lost more business, or how many guys started business because of COVID in pressure washing? Anybody in here that got started? Man, we sold so many 8-gallon-a-minute units during COVID because so many people saw, hey, I want to do this while I'm at home. But those guys rise and they fall. They go out of business because they don't take into account that there's a 3-4 month period in North Carolina where there's gonna be limited work, right? Your mildew is going to stop growing. It's going to, there's cold in the mountains. There's cold where we are. Not so much here, but it's cyclical and you have to prep for that. And we also like to educate you on different industries, right? I know you guys are typically in the housing market, but commercial base, having a good mix is always very well. In North Carolina, there's a huge trucking world, man. The DMV, the Department of Transportation, they will ding truck drivers on the cleanliness of their vehicles. That's part of what they look for. One of our guys is a state trooper that comes to our shop all the time, and he'll tell you they're looking for dirty trucks. Well, there's an easy add-on that you can use chems. You two-step stuff, you brush it for a little bit, but you can knock trucks out 10, 15, 20 minutes per cab, and it's constant. Every other week, you can add these services to you. So you start building a base during the wintertime. When your housing market goes down, this market picks up because where there's brine, you have to two-step, right? You go through a touchless car wash, what's left on your car? Road film, right? It's because there's magnetic bond between that and the metal. So the acid helps shock, the alkaline comes back and neutralizes, helps clean, doesn't reactivate with acids. You were talking about alkaline water. I drink alkaline water,
There you go.
9.5, you know.
See,
Yeah.
man, come on,
So,
man.
so in the winter world, it's about removing the minerals out. In our world, it's about using alkaline and acid to either etch surfaces with acid or remove off of surfaces with alkaline. It's just the difference on the pH world.
Yeah. So this is something that I've noticed about Jonathan. This is another reason I like him. I can definitely tell that he's a sales guy. I love sales guys. Who likes salespeople? I love them.
I don't like
Man,
it.
I do. But see, he does it. This is what I found really cool about him is the fact that he does it in a manner of service. And everything, he's passionate about what he does. He loves what he does. He loves his products. He believes in his products. He's got passion about it. But he talks to people. And even DJ, they talk to us, Lewis can attest to this, in a manner of service. And that's super important when you're working with one of your customers, okay? When you've got a customer that's called you out of the blue, wants you to go do a quote, right? Talk to them in a manner of service. And I think I'd like you to talk to us about that because I don't know, I mean, we've gotten into it a little bit, but you're a pretty spiritual guy.
Absolutely.
Okay? And you obviously understand the power of being, or to be of service, right? And so how has that helped you in business and in your family life?
Well, I mean, so, three things I live by is God-centered, team-focused, and detail-oriented, right? All of which tie back to God-centered first and foremost, and that's a key thing for our family. Like I said, we choose to homeschool our children for very specific reasons. We can control what they're being taught, how they're being taught, and we're teaching them to be responsible for themselves as opposed to just, consuming what's being told to them. Well, that starts with how we live our lives, how we start our days, with our time spent with God, with prayer. Actually, before this, I spent time with Travis and Dan Check, right? Because, one of our guys here locally, completely clean, he has cancer, right? And so, I mean, we just started a book based on faith, and it's like he came to me, and it's like, well, a man with stage 4 cancer that wants to start this because he's experiencing life now, because he realizes how important the day-to-day is. It's like, man, absolutely, I want to be a part of that because it's going to make me better. It's going to slow me down and do that. And what I've realized, even with business, religious-wise, everybody wants like the big experience where you're part of this huge evangelistic outreach where everybody comes to Jesus. There's baptisms everywhere, right? Because it feels good. But what I've realized is I can never be in front of 25 people again today other than right now, and I get to have an impact that way. And we get to do that on a day-to-day basis in our businesses because we have anywhere between, on a slow day, like in the middle of the winter when it's cold, 10 people still come through our stores, all the way in the summer up to hundreds. So we get to do that constantly. And that means more to my dad and I than anything, is just the impact that we get, to you guys, but then you guys are also impacting community, right? And we can all be civic servants by being part of the chamber, doing these things, but we keep the community clean. And that sounds hokey for what we do, but think about that. We actually keep this community clean. We keep it from going down. We keep it prospering. We keep people wanting to come in. I mean, this area is growing tremendously, right?
Yeah.
So I know you guys on the beach houses and stuff, those are cleaned how often? How often you guys, kind of heard somebody say, how often you guys clean beach houses?
Every other week.
Yeah, so I mean, that's consistent, right? And it's because more and more people are driving into these markets. And it's so important that you do it right, you do it responsibly, but then it just keeps more money flowing into our communities.
Yeah.
And I've heard this said, when you spend locally, it recirculates 7 times within the same community. That matters, man. That matters a lot. My family depends on us spending locally, so we try to do the same thing. Now, yes, there's some things you can't do. I get it. However, you can control what you can, and that's like the biggest piece.
So would you say sales is to serve?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Because service, shows true character. I truly believe when you serve, you're truly seeing who character is, because there's so much service work that you can then tell what they're really in it for, right? You can tell when someone's really involved in what they're serving, or if they're just doing it because they're trying to check a box, right? And so that's really kind of what we focus on internally, is not just checking boxes, but really trying to be active and listen with you guys. We learn daily. Like, look, we don't pressure wash. I've never pressure washed my house. I've never gone out and pressure washed. Now, I've been on site when I was a kid with my dad. I've never done it. So I learned through you guys. Now, we understand the basics of it. We understand the equipment. And luckily, most of my team has pressure washed, right? So they teach me. But I learn from you guys every day. And that's the only way this works, is we listen, and then we process, and then we provide you with tools. That's really what we're doing, right? We're the intermediary. Yes, we manufacture our chemicals, but all the equipment that we sell, we're not making it. We're purchasing it and we're reselling it. So our whole responsibility is to guide you to the best available thing.
Think about what he just said. Did you hear that? He doesn't pressure wash, but you own a pressure washing supply company, right? He doesn't pressure wash, okay? Hazen, do you clean windows? Not professionally, but you are an expert when it comes to your field, knowing the product knowledge about your specific products in the window cleaning realm, right? And he doesn't he doesn't window clean. This guy doesn't pressure wash, but he is able to serve our needs. Hazen is able to serve our needs by solving our problems, right? Blake, if you've got a problem with a pump, let's say you didn't winterize it, okay? And it got freaking below 32, right? It's 0. And boom, it's broken. This guy can help you, right? Even though he doesn't go out there and pressure wash every day, you know what he's going through, right? Okay, and he's willing to help you. So that's the service, right? And with the way he talks and the way DJ speaks, it really resonates with me. That's why part of the reason why I do business with them is because I know they're here to serve. They're here to serve us. They want us to get back on the road. They want us to be back making money. They want our service technicians to be on the road earning some revenue as well, right? So they're doing everything they can to get us back up and operational. How many times have you done that for us, DJ?
Plenty.
I mean, it happens all the time, right? And we're thankful for that. And like I said, Jonathan can't be in your backyard, Randy, right? And I'm sure you probably got somebody in Greenville that you utilize. SoCar, okay. Does he serve you as well? Is he salesy? He is, okay. But does he do it in a salesy way, or does he do it in a manner that serves you?
He does it right.
Okay, he does it right. That means I take that as a yes. He serves you, right? Okay. And the reason I'm bringing that up, and part of the reason why I wanted Jonathan to be up here, is because I wanted to talk to you guys, not just about him and his products and his companies. Listen, he can go on for days about all of this stuff, right? But just the way that he communicates with his people communicate with his customers, it really, really, really means something. And he's done a really good job of educating his guys and teaching them the proper way to speak to them, let them know what the problems are before and after, if there was a problem before, and how they fixed it after, right? And I'm bringing this up because it's super important for you guys to be able to do the same thing with your service technicians. They've got to be able to knock on that door and find out what that problem is, that customer that called you, what that real problem is. Yeah, it might be window cleaning. It might be pressure washing a house. However, is that really the real problem? Why did they call you today, right? And it's engaging and it's asking these questions, kind of like he does, as well as his team. They ask, Lewis, how often is DJ coming over and he say, hey, Lewis, you called me because you need some bleach, right? But he's also asking you, is that the real problem? Are you sure there's not something else that I need to help you with?
He definitely asks if there's anything else.
Yeah, right? Because you got all these...
He asked me when I need bleach by.
Bingo, right? Because he's there to serve as well. And that's the cool thing about this company, is they're willing to serve, right? They're going to give you guys the service, okay? And when you're working with companies like that, it's freaking magic, okay? As opposed to working with guys... Like, who was somebody else that we used to, the company that you came from? MVP. How many bad experiences did we have with not DJ? DJ was rockstar, but we had some, the higher up, man, he just didn't have that. He didn't, did he? He did not. He didn't, right? And the last time I talked to that guy, man, he was freaking just trying to light me up. And I was like, dude, man, like, I'm like,
yeah, the hiccup with those 398 gallon machines with the gearboxes on it.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah. And listen, all I wanted some help. I just wanted some help, right? Hey man, I think there's a problem. Like if you have a problem with a window window cleaning pole that Hazen sells you, right? Hazen is gonna freaking try to take care of you. And that's super important. We got to find the right vendors, the right people to be able to serve you guys, right? And do it in a proper way without trying to be salesy, right? They need to know how to sell you because sometimes you guys are apprehensive. Blake's, oh man, I don't want to spend that kind of money. Oh my God, it's going to cost me $500 to fix that pump, right? But he's going to give you the benefit in a manner that's going to make you understand that, hey, listen, I'm here to help you. I want to get you up and running. I need to get you up and running now so that you can get back to making money.
Well, and we're entrepreneurs too. I mean, each one of you have taken a huge leap, when you purchase a franchise and you go out on your own. It's taxing, right? I know. My dad and I, we deal with it on a day-to-day basis. However, it is very freeing. But what we look for in our vendors are people that, we call, we get immediate answers, they're honest with us. And I think you said it earlier, to pay $200 more is okay if you know there's service that's going to be provided, you can count on it, and you can move on to the next thing. As an entrepreneur, that matters, man, because time is so small. And like our products, man, I can buy all the raw goods, I can buy from 15 different people, right? But I know we have trusted vendors that we call, and I know when I call what's going to happen, it's going to move. Price goes up, no big deal. You know what? Let's just keep moving forward just because that's there. And that's our goal, right? We want to be that for you guys. And I'll give, for instance, with winterizing. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about it, but when you drive down the road, it may not be below 30 degrees, but when you add 60 miles an hour to wind chill, you could freeze the head of your pump. You may not need to winterize it ahead of time, but those are little things that we hear from multiple people that we have access to that we can pass that information on to you guys. We're kind of like that hub, right? Where all the information comes in, then you guys can just access that information when you have time. And there's no stupid question, man. We've heard a lot of different things. There's a reason why here we don't sell brass. We don't sell brass fittings in Wilmington. Why would you not sell brass in Wilmington? Exactly. Kernersville, we sell brass because there's not that reason, right? I didn't know that until I got down here, and DJ's like, we're not keeping brass in this store because you're never going to sell it. You know what? It never dawned on me that would be a problem.
And that's pretty cool that he listens to his employees and gets their feedback so that he can have a better company running with better products and serving the community better. And I'm going to keep stressing that, and we'll talk about that more later on today, and we're going to talk about it some more tomorrow. But it's the power of service, right? We're in the service industry. That means we have to serve, right? So you've got to serve yourself, you've got to serve your employees, you've got to serve your customers, right? And you need to serve your vendors as well. You build these good relationships with your vendors and they will take care of you, right? If we didn't have a good relationship, DJ, man, I don't think you would have told him to send that girl over to see me, right? I mean, right?
Yeah, no, that guy's exactly right. It matters.
That guy's a jerk, man. Don't go over there, right? And a reason why I left was because that guy over there where you were was a jerk, right? And it was a bad relationship. It wasn't a win-win. I always feel like with this guy, it's a win for him, it's a win for me. Do you feel that way, Lewis, when you're working with Jonathan and DJ?
You win, I win, we win.
Yeah. And so when we're talking, I bring these vendors up because one, I do want to know about their products, but I also bring these vendors up here because I know that they're here to help us win. And I know if they can help us win, then we can win, and they're winning too, man. It's just a better situation.
Absolutely.
Have you ever been on the wrong side of that coin? Where the other guy's winning and you're losing?
There has been those opportunities, and it's frustrating, right? Because you pour your heart and soul into someone when the ROI on that relation doesn't come back. It teaches you lessons, though. I mean, the true understanding of unconditional love is not expecting back. So there has to be a level of service and expectation where we look to help, and yes, the expectation may or may not come back. However, if we gain the opportunity to interact, we have to take each win. I'm bad at not celebrating little wins. However, if you slow down and start celebrating those wins, every interaction can be a win and should be a win, right? And there again, I've learned a lot just being friends with Travis and him going through stage 4 cancer. It teaches you a lot when you just slow down and start listening. And it's kind of like in the stage in my life at 46 with a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, you better slow down because I remember my daughter was that big. She's not that big anymore. She's 15. That scares me to death.
Wow,
so
46?
Yeah.
God, man. Right. I'm still older than you. All right. So let's get back to pressure washing. So tell us this, because I know these guys are always interested in the new up and coming magical products. So tell us about the future of the power washing industry. What's the next thing coming out? What's new coming down the pipeline? What kind of new technology? What are you seeing out there right now?
So, Hazen was awesome with water-fed poles and stuff because that they kind of tie in. You know, we dabble a little bit in that, but we don't know, so we kind of stay in our lane a little bit. But as far as pressure washing, what we've seen is larger and larger and larger GPM, right? But we've also seen shrink into the housing market where it's back out of trucks as opposed to trailers. I mean, you guys can attest to employees going around not knowing how to back trailers in and out, and they're just doing damage. So it's funny because the industry has gone to more GPM. However, the size of the units are shrinking when it comes to what you're carrying around. So there's weight restrictions around that. You know, you go out to a house with a well, you're not going to be able to feed an 8-gallon unless you got a big enough buffer tank. You know, so those kind of things are starting to see. What we also see is just ways to save you time, kind of like what Hazen was talking about with extensions and water feds and stuff. I mean, you know, there's remote systems, there's proportioner systems, there's always switch back from gas-powered soft washing into 12-volt soft washing. Depending on who you talk to, will tell you which one's better. You know what? They all started out as pesticide pumps, so they all have their issues. SH will do damage internally. It's all about how pressure is being stored and how it's being released is really how the internals of these are being damaged. So it's just about, what we're seeing is more and more emphasis on quality of what the product is, right? I know the P40s, the Comet pumps, they're trying to make them more bleach stable. You know, SH at 15% is very damaging. I'm sure you guys have all stuck your hands in it, you know, like peroxide, you know, it foams.
It's hot.
It is very hot, you know. So that's kind of what we're seeing in the industry, right? Okay. I mean, your Honda motors are your solid motors. There's Briggs, there's different variations of that. The pumps all come from Italy for the most part. You know, some are more expensive to rebuild, some are less expensive. But there again, it's all about the quality. And that's really like what we like to carry is, and there again, some people may like General Pump, you may not. We like them because they're quality and they're cheap to rebuild. Hondas, we're master technicians in both locations for Honda. So we have access direct to them. You know, we get training on those things. That stuff matters. So we want to continue to carry those lines so we can support you. So you're not having to then take your Honda somewhere where there's a certified tech so you can do warranty work where most stores don't have that, right? We're actually a warranty center for these things that we like to carry. That way it's a one-stop shop, right? That's kind of our thought process there.
Nice. So if any of our guys out here, whether it's Patrick in Nashville, Randy in Greenville, Blake in Raleigh, you already given him somebody, but maybe JJ in Virginia Beach or even Richmond, do you have a good network of guys that you could be able to refer those to if they were looking for somebody with high quality skills like yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you would definitely recommend some people to these guys.
Yeah, we recommend people to different stores. We kind of build that network internally, right? I mean, Pat Clark's in Greenville. I mean, you guys know Pat Clark?
No.
Proceed.
He didn't get contact.
Yeah. We had one, but he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Pressure works?
Yeah. Oh,
He's a jerk.
yeah. So, and there again, and shipping is what it is, right? Somebody was saying that FedEx was killing, right? So freight is, when it comes to corrosive-based chemicals, you know, that's where you start getting a little high in your freight costs, right? But there again, it goes back to educating your consumer, right? Why are you using specific products? Why do you use a product that has, you know, sodium hydroxide versus potassium hydroxide? You know, when you start using caustics and you start doing it, you can educate your customers on that, which raises the ticket price, right? It's not just Gain and Dawn in a tub. There are reasons why certain surfactants are used versus others. You know, all those things matter, and that's how you can upsell items. And that's what we try to do, is we try to educate based on why we use the formulation we do. So that way you have access to then tell your customer. Telling someone there's bleach, wrong, right? You don't never use bleach.
No.
You know.
Let's talk about, because we've talked about sodium hypochlorite a lot today. Do you see sodium hypochlorite going away where we will not be able to utilize it?
Absolutely not.
No? Okay.
Absolutely not.
What's that based on?
Well, we sell a lot of.
Or how about this? How about it being forced to go away, where the prices continue to go up and up and up, so that it's going to $8 to $10 a gallon?
I've seen we see nothing around in that whatsoever.
Okay.
I mean, how are they treating water that you're drinking currently within cities?
Sodium hypochlorite?
Yeah.
Right.
It's all about balance. It's all about pH balance,
Yep.
right? So I mean, that's the way they're treating. When you start getting behind the curtain on a lot of these things, you stop drinking tap water, you stop going to public pools, you stop doing a lot of this on how they're treating pH. Because you understand and you realize it's scary.
That's why we drink alkaline water.
Exactly. However, I don't see any indication of it because we sell a lot of commodity chemicals to people that are treating wastewater going down from production. It's not going to go away.
Okay.
And we're not seeing huge influx in production. You know, there was COVID, there was a shrink kind of in the market that raised a little bit of the price, but there again, things have backed down a little bit, and it's just not one of those products that it's really volatile when it comes to large price hikes, because it's kind of like gas at the pump, right?
Right.
Gas is fluctuating. We treat bleach like that. I ain't trying to get rich on bleach. We're trying to provide you with bleach and use everything else that we have, right? That's the idea when it comes to bleach. It's not about getting rich on it.
Got it. What about drones? Because that was something that came up earlier, right? Now I'm glad you're here because I think did you guys come out and do a demo? Somebody came out and did. Yeah. I think it. You know what? I think it was the was it Hertz?
United
or
Railroads.
One
Yeah,
of those
they
guys,
have.
right?
Yeah, Lucid goes through them.
So what are you seeing in that technology right now? Like,
yeah, I mean, so it's application based, right? So who was talking? Pump sprayers. Like you were talking about pump sprayers when I walked in earlier. It's just all about application, right? So every form of application has its place. Drones are great because it allows you from a liability standpoint, from a workers' comp standpoint, you can probably lower your policies. If you're not on ladders, you're not scaling roofs, it adds a service there, right? Depending on who your provider is.
unless the drone falls on somebody's head.
Well, I'm sure they're going to make their money, right? They're insurance companies. However, like drone use is just be wary on the size of the hose that they're selling. They're feeding your drone. You know, make sure it's large enough. Make sure you're getting enough liquid being fed. It's kind of like your pump heads, man. Make sure everything's being flooded the suction side so you're not doing damage to the equipment. And that's really what, in this industry, what we're seeing is, you know, getting cheap on size hose. And it may sound interesting from like an inch size ag hose down to a half inch. Price isn't that much, it's pennies. However, it matters when it comes to the equipment. You want to flood your suction, that way there's never cavitation within the pumps and you don't start doing internal damage, which is going to cost you money because first you're down, but then two, it's expensive to start repairing equipment, right? So that's really what you're after. And drone is no different. Whether you're using downstream injection, whether you're using soft wash, whether you're using drones, it's all about application, right? What happens when you get to the bottom of a pump sprayer and you're spraying something? It starts airing, right? It's air bubbles, same process. When air is introduced into that, you're going to do damage. If a drone's 100 feet in the air and it's spitting, now you're not controlling spray, you're not controlling overspray. All those things matter, right? And
we were just talking about that overspray, right? And so Blake called me the other day, and we were just chit chatting about his Louis Vuitton debacle, right? And it cost him a couple $100, right?
No, it's not really. I worked to do.
Yeah, but it cost you. It cost you. It cost you. Yeah. How much time did it actually cost you?
About 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, right? Total, including you having to go out there and do the work.
Well, we were already out there.
But no, add up. See, he's already. See what he's doing? See, he's shorting himself on time, and you guys can't do that. JJ's good about it. JJ don't do that. JJ will tell you, man. Actually, I spent like 4 hours on this thing because of that one problem, right? He'll tell you exactly, right? And he'll know exactly that cost him, right, $600. He'll tell you that, just like that. And I'm not doing this in a derogatory way. But I just want you guys to open up your eyes and say, hey, man, the amount of time that you guys spend on projects, right? You got to add those numbers up, okay? If you're sitting on a project that you got a quote, right, and you spend 3 hours working on that quote, how much time did that cost you? 3 hours. How much revenue did that cost you? What's your time worth, right? You start backing that number back into, hey, what you want to make, what you need to make, man, you got to add that in. A lot of times we shortchange ourselves that,
Absolutely.
right? And so by that little debacle that you had, and you talked to me, and I'm glad you did, but he started talking about another future problem that I knew he was going to have, right? And I'm bringing it back up because now it's on his mind, right? And it's like, okay, but aren't you glad that I was able to provide you some value and give you that insight real quick so that you could start thinking, how can I solve this problem?
Well, I can tell you, I contacted Lucid Drones to see what we could do about that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I purchased like their drone training, 109, and I reached out to Sunbelt trying to get my hands on a drone rental.
Okay.
Because I've got $65,000.
Right. Okay. And see that now we're trying to solve a future problem. This is what we're doing. Blake comes to me. You can already see it. He's going to go out there and wash the side of it. How tall of a building was this?
some areas it's 7, some areas it's 6.
Stories.
In the middle of downtown, and it's green.
Where
Raleigh
do you think
and Raleigh.
all of that chemical is going to go?
Everywhere.
Right. So as we're talking about innovative products, right, innovative solutions, what's coming down the pipeline, I'm looking for the answers to those questions. How can we utilize one guy or a drone or some sort of other type of machinery that maybe you know of that we can apply that product without it having to get everywhere and somebody call the police, call the fire department, call whoever, right, and just start opening up a hornet's nest for you. We're trying to alleviate that. See how proactive I'm trying to be? And so that's why I keep asking these guys, what are the new and next best things that are coming down the pipeline? How can we be the innovators in that industry? It seems like you are trying to do the same thing with your chemicals here.
Absolutely.
Right? You've got, I mean, talk to us about this. You've got like
So we've got tons of samples. That's what all these are. We'd love for you guys to take a variety. Anything with our label, we make in-house. We personally make it in Kernersville.
Nice.
So everything that you guys have, that's bleach stable fragrances. And I'll tell you this, I was looking for fragrance to add into some of our chemicals. I came across this company, Horizon Aromatics. They were in New Jersey. I called them. They said they were in the pressure washing space, but it was a pain for them because it's really not what it is. So we took over their blending. So they are full. I've been to New Jersey. I've been through their lab. They have a full lab where these are really bleach stable fragrances. That's why they split. So what you're seeing on a split, those may not do that, is you have your surfactant and your oil base. So you have to shake it to get it to then to carry into the bleach. But they don't. A lot of fragrances, what you'll see is interaction with bleach. Probably most of them are really high in pH. So you'll see exotherm. You'll see them get hot. You'll see them start melting takes. Have you ever seen residue left in your tanks? Like in your bleach tank, you guys don't have tall bleach tanks, right? You'll see ring around from surfactant being left, and then it's just stuck on the side. That's interaction, right? So automatically, when you're getting bleach at 12.5 to 15%, you dump surfactant in there. Automatically, there can be chemical reaction. It gets hot. You're already starting to take pH going back down to neutral. So your time frame on the bleach really starts to go down pretty quick, right? So with this fragrance, man, you can take the small bottle which I have, half of that into a 55-gallon drum. There's no smell of bleach, right? And it's not going to do any damage to the bleach. There's a little bit of foamer in there, but it's not going to be enough that you can't add your surfactant on top of that. We make a surfactant, which is the SB40 right here, that's got fragrance in it as well. It's a foamer, it's a wetting agent, and then there's also some ether in there to help cut some dirt, some other things. So,
this is a question that I've always had, and I've asked a lot of different pressure washing people. We like to use just high quality laundry detergent as a surfactant. These surfactants here, like, what do they do that the laundry detergent doesn't?
They don't have all the other additives that are in there. And the idea with these is there's 2 products in ours, that's it. There's not all the other additives because we're not cleaning clothes. All we're doing is cling. That's all surfactant is, right? Is allow it to stick. And then over time, the rain will continue to wash and wash, right? But the surfactant's just there and it helps wet sometimes. And there's a foamer in there too that will help you track, right? So it's a matter of finding that sometimes you can add too much and then you have leftover. And that's why you use DI systems, so there's nothing left on a window. Similar with chemicals, you get flash off immediately. You're going to leave X amount of chem that's then going to collect more organics. It's going to be dirt because spots on there that are chem stay sticky. They're going to just collect organics, right?
So you're saying using something like this, like when we're downstream in a house, let's say it's really hot outside that day, you're saying like it could potentially make
It flashes off. Mm-hmm. So non-porous surfaces, right? There's not going to be taken in, right? It's just going to sit. So whatever flashes off on the front, if you don't wet it, it's just going to flash the water off immediately. And that's what all these are, water soluble. So the water goes away immediately. What's left is chems, right? Because the chems are 400, 500 degree flash points where your water is going to be flashed immediately on that, right? Porous surfaces you wet, so it allows the brick or the concrete to then accept the chem, which all you're doing is just trying to extract dirt or etch dirt with acid. So it's about just knowing the surface. That's why we always tell people, always do tests, right? Don't ever go out blind on a job. Always do tests because then you're going to know what chems will do right. How many guys have run into the pigment issues with some of the hardy board paints, right? So bleach, it's horrible. So, but we sell EcoChem. We're a rep for EcoChem. We were going to do a presentation with them today. That way you guys had it, and we'll bring encyclopedias that they give out tomorrow and hand those out. But what's great for those is like a Cleansol product, right? It's great. You can wash cars with it. It was one of their design products that has caustic in it. However, it's buffered. It's not going to dull paint. You know, that's what caustics do, right? They tend to dull on a truck. They'll dull clear coats, which eventually dulls color, which doesn't give that shine.
Which is really kind of that's why
That's
a lot
right.
of the byproduct, like when you see that when you use like vinyl siding,
But you don't
and
have
stuff,
to worry about pigmentation damage when it comes to that. And the sodium hydroxide will remove off of hardy board because it's non-porous, so you're just removing off the surface.
We had an issue where we were brushing. We found we were making a ton of money for a little while where we were brushing on Cleansol onto gutter facings, and it was just amazing. And then we had like some really oxidized hardy board, and as I was rinsing it sideways, some of it flew and hit the paint, and it just completely discolored it. So that is
So it discolored the paint,
Yes.
or it took the oxidation off, and then you had different colors.
It probably happened.
that's probably what it did.
Yeah, because that's what you see with vinyl, right? It looks wet, it looks shiny, and then when it dries, it's chalky. That's oxidation.
Yeah.
So-
Bleach leaves oxidation.
So can I ask you a question? Like in an instance like, because we had to really scale back on our gutter face cleaning after that because, you know, paying $1,500 to repaint somebody's house, that section of the house is nothing but fun. If we run into that situation again so that we can start using that product again, because it was a big breadwinner for me. I was upset with the mess out of it. If we run into that issue again, can we just put that product evenly on the painted surface and just wash it
Yeah.
and then fix the problem?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Now, there again, like brushless cars washes, it's not, you're going to have to possibly agitate. So there is no silver bullet when it comes to just spray and go. When it's heavy oxidation, you may have to agitate, right? You're going to have to potentially agitate the surface to remove. But Cleansol is a product that's not going to do damage. It won't do damage to windows, frames, any of that stuff.
As you can tell, Jonathan has a wide knowledge of chemicals and understanding of our industry. He is definitely a go-to, okay? Even if you can't utilize him in your backyard, Randy. I know you don't like your guy. I would definitely reach out to this guy if you ever have a problem or if you want to learn more information because he knows so much about this. I would definitely like to learn some more about this product. I know we're running a little bit behind today, but I know he has, just talk to us real quickly before.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got stuff from, what is this?
So that's
degreasers.
So on the left side, well, you're right of the table, right? So you have a 255 is a polished safe aluminum brightener. So there again, 250 is it's hydrofluoric based, which is the nasty of the nasty when it comes to acid. If it's a polished tanker, it will tarnish tanks. It will, because you're stripping metal, right? That's what you're doing. The polished safe doesn't do that. The 704 is our truck wash. You can actually use it to wash houses too, and wood for that matter.
You can use this on a house?
You can, because it's high in pH, but there's no free alkalinity, meaning there's no caustic in it, right? So the pH is boosted. However, there's nothing that's going to tarnish. There's a wax-based product in there too that leaves shine. It's great for oxidation removal as well. Similar to Cleansol, same thought
So you like
process.
spray that on a house after you get the washing with SH and the house will shiny?
Yeah. You can actually use that instead of SH. I mean, in heavy mold areas, yes, there are theories out there that SH doesn't actually kill mold, right? There's plenty of data that states that. I mean, that's exactly. That's why he's using peroxide.
That's yeah.
There you go.
That's why his product alleviates the mold and mildew for
hydrogen
a
peroxide
longer
base.
amount of time.
That's right.
Right.
It's about where it goes dormant and what you're doing and removing the spore versus not, right? Heavy growth on roofage, man, unless you're up there removing it, it may dull it, it may, kill the surface base, but those spores are still sitting there and they're going to grow back up. Great for business, but if you're selling a product that's going to remove based off of this, that's kind of a lie, right? So, what are you willing to stand behind on your business? So the beauty is there are other options, which is great, right? I'm eager to carry the stuff in our store now that I've had time to hear about it, right? So the gutter butter products like Resto Presto is an oxidation remover. Gutter butter, we actually manufacture that. Now, gutter butter is Pat's and his wife Sheila's business, but we are in partnership with them and we manufacture that for them. So you can buy that from us or you could buy that direct from them. Hangout is a roof surfactant. It's a little bit thicker. It is just a surfactant, right? That's why it's so thick. It's for roofs. You spray, you let sit, you don't rinse, and over time it allows the SH to sit, so you see that gradual, brightening of the shingle. Super Bubble is just kind of an all-around bleach additive. It does have cherry fragrance. You can smell it later. And it's just great. And then that's wood bright, that cleans fences. It's non-caustic based. You're not going to fur wood. It's not going to shrink wood.
Is this only for fences? Or can you just use it on, can you use it on wooden decks?
You can use it on decks too, yeah, absolutely. It won't shrink the wood either. Because like SH shrinks wood because of the salt left behind, acids etch, it'll fur. That product doesn't do that, right? And then that way, you can also, like we have all the powder-based stuff too. We have got oxalics, we got sodium mets, we've got caustic and powder. We've got all those forms as well. And we can drop ship stuff. We can do all that. And then, like I said, the winterization fluid, we sell that as well. We'll actually winterize it if you're in the area. Come by, takes 5 minutes, we'll knock it out for you. You know, if you're going away for holiday or whatever. Disruptor Pro is our degreaser, which is if you're doing a lot of restaurant based, good for synthetics. It was designed to do truck frame rails, you know, to remove. Grease emulsifies at 180 degrees if you don't have heat, which I don't think most of you guys do on your rigs, right? So all you're going to do is loosen, and it's going to move the grease, right? If you're not going to actually heat it to emulsify it, then you're going to need something to move it.
Right.
And
that'll do it.
Yeah, that way it relieves surface.
Nice.
How does that compare to EcoChem's Hot Shot?
Hot stain, so different formulations. So they're both good tools to have. That's why I always say, kind of like, what's your toolkit? Like every one of these, depending on where, if you're mainly in the housing market, right, you're still going to need a degreaser. Synthetic-based oils on new concrete where they really soak in, because that's going to the, I mean, on raw concrete,
It's just
that oil is going to go to the ground.
Yeah, it's just
So
completely
that's
absorbed.
why you always have shadowing, right?
Yep.
You're never going to completely remove that out. Hot stain has a great lifting agent. It's a great product. Ours does similar, but in that instance, hot stain's a great avenue just because it lifts, then allows you to rinse off. It's kind of designed for that.
And what do we got here? This one? This
So
is
that's aluminum brightener.
brightener.
That's hydrofluoric based. That's nasty. Rust removal. If you feel comfortable, you can use that. Just know that, you know, do some research on a hydrofluoric acid. You'll understand.
Don't put this in your employees'
Well, who's seen
hands. Don't
Breaking
do that.
Bad, right?
You got
Who's seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
What's the bathtub?
The bathtub. There you go. There you go.
What's the chemical in Wonder Store that removes?
It's muriatic acid.
Muriatic acid. So Wonder Store would be safer than that.
It's different acid. So different acids do different things. Now they all etch, however, depending on the grade of it, meaning like sulfuric's a very dirty acid. So you're not going to do as much etching, right? So it's kind of a carrier where your HF is it's a highly, I don't know the right word, but it leaches calcium from bone, basically is what that does, it dissolves. So each acid does different things when it comes to removal. So you just have to be cautious with that. But like One Restore is buffered, right? So surfactants buffer. So the real chemical of cleaning in that is muriatic acid. But they buffer it out so it's not going to damage window seals, it's not going to damage glass, it's not going to damage other substrates because those surfactants allow that to, over time, do the etching as opposed to just raw product that'll burn brick. So it's just kind of knowing what that is, right? We make a concrete remover for trucks that's glycolic and formic based, organic based acids, because muriatic's become kind of like a curse word in the industry because it does exothermics and it fumes. I don't know if you've ever spilled it on concrete, it turns green, and it's horrible to smell. So, and that's some of the future stuff is a lot of organic based acids are coming they're more expensive, but yet they're safer for you as the operator, but then also, you know, the end client as well.
Nice. Well, Jonathan, I think you have given us so much information that our heads are going to explode.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about outfitting your trucks, right? I know you guys are outfitting trucks, and that's probably a conversation you and I need to have.
Yeah, I mean, it
down
is.
the road. But we have access to, you know, full fabrication. We weld, we fabricate in-house, both our locations. If you ever needed something, we're actually in a prototype of building skids. So the aluminum skids that slide in the back of truck beds. Everybody's doing it, but we're actually going to start doing that as well.
Okay.
You want aluminum?
Yes.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep. So.
Yeah. Did you bring that new truck here?
Yeah, it's over there. We looked at
You saw it?
Yeah.
It's a good job. Reese did a good job. All right. Listen, everybody, if you do not have Jonathan's phone number, get his phone number.
Tons of cards.
He will definitely answer your call. If you run into a pickle, if you need some help, he will definitely be able to get you out of it, or he'll be able to tell you exactly what product to utilize on a specific surface. There's a lot of new surfaces that are coming out. People are using different types of siding now. You know, vinyl siding, man, there's always been a problem with it chalking. It degrades over time. It has a shelf life. Most people don't understand that. And so when you put a product like sodium hypochlorite on 20-year-old vinyl, it's gonna create a problem, right? And you guys don't want to have to work on that problem. You would rather be working on your business and generating more revenue. So before you get into a pinch, DJ knows, this guy knows. I'd say he knows a little bit more. Oh yeah. I mean, he knows a lot, right? So, but reach out to these guys and allow them to give you that help that you need. Same thing with Hazen, right? Tom, these guys are here to help you, right? We're building relationships. We talked about that, right? They're here to serve, right? These guys, all three of these guys are the same. They understand the power of service. They want to help you guys, okay? Just like me. That's why we get along, right? Is because we all think the same way. We're here to serve you guys, okay? And we want you guys to be able to serve your customers in a professional way and in a successful way for them and for you guys. And that's what this is about. So anytime you got any questions about this stuff, reach out to him. Hey, I'm happy to talk to you as well, right? But 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna push you to the expert, and I know this guy well. He's here to help you guys, all right? So Jonathan, I appreciate you being here.
you.
I know you guys got some value out of it. Give this guy a big round of applause.